Greetings, everyone. My name is Wajeiya, and I'm the Innovation Programs Manager at Jacobs Ladder Africa. And part of what I do is I build ecosystems of thriving entrepreneurs all across Africa. And part of what that entails is basically working with very early stage aspiring innovators, entrepreneurs who are very keen to take on leadership and bring about change in the communities that they have identified. And so what I'll then do on a day-to-day basis is to equip them first with how they see Africa, how they see the world, so shaping their perspectives and then helping them to build the right mindsets. There's a key entrepreneurial mindsets that are critical to then bring about that change, and then subsequently provide them with resources, tools that will enable them to be able to have a successful mission. So the second skill will be on how to think. And how to think in this case, I'm referring to how do you acquire the ability to be a lifelong learner? It's a very critical component of any successful change maker, innovator, or entrepreneur in this case. And you'd find that actually some and many times the challenge for most entrepreneurs that are looking to build thriving businesses is just that they think they know. And that has been a big headwind or inhibitor of success in that journey. That you find out as an example, you've identified very well, you've been able to now see the opportunity in a market that there is a demand or there's a challenge or a gap that you are hoping to fill. But just because you think you know that this is the right solution, that can in itself become the obstacle that denies you the opportunity to actually be successful in building a thriving business. So being able to think and think like a lifelong learner and acquiring the mindset of that like a child, you're seeking at all times to grow and to grow in your understanding of what are the gaps that the customers have identified in the market have. How do I solve those gaps in the most optimal way? Constantly applying yourself to learn, whether you might be a solo founder or if you're in a team, how do you collectively constantly build a skill towards being a lifelong learner in understanding the depths of the problems you want to solve for, the most optimal solution and how you can effectively bring it to market, and how do you scale that? Things like that are going to be critical in how you think. And how to think, if I broke it even further down, is I'm talking about, for example, the ability to be able to think from a first principles perspective. And first principles here is, can you take what might be a complex problem and break it down into its most fundamental parts? That's what separates the most successful entrepreneurs with those who might not be as successful. Just being able to reason from a first principles perspective is one way in which you can build the skills around how to think. Then I'd say the final one around how to think as a skill would then be being able to think at scale. There are many entrepreneurs who only think local, and thinking local is good. It's a fantastic place to start from, and that's what we'd encourage. Be able to think local. Look at what is your immediate environment and how can you solve for it. But also, how do you think global and think at scale? So the ability to be able to think at scale in and of itself is a skill that if you are able to acquire, then that together with all the others I've spoken about in relation to how to think would become a very critical asset for you to be a successful entrepreneur in building a thriving business.